Hi everybody, welcome back. Tony again with Shinsho Yoga and Happy New Year. So for this week and for the new year, I'd like to just start out with a little message regarding New Year's and New Year's energy and a lot of what's gone on recently regarding celestial events and things like that. Often because of the roles that I'm in and what I do, people I know will ask me about things like recently the alignment of the star of Jupiter and Saturn together and creating the Christmas star. Of course, we had that directly at the same time as the solstice. And then right now we have a full moon on New Year's. So all within a week of each other, we had this conjunction of stars, a solstice event. We had full moon, an eclipse too. There was an eclipse. It was for if you're in North America, it was down in South America. And then, of course, the New Year. So oftentimes people will ask, what does that mean? And maybe if you have interest in spirituality and you follow different spiritual accounts, you'll see, or especially if you follow anything to do with astrology, they'll say, well, this is the time of Aquarius, and means this, and this means that. What all of this really means is just a shifting in energy. I'm sorry if that ruins it for a lot of people, but it has meaning, it has significance, and like anything, it doesn't have meaning and doesn't have significance. Any types of events that happen in the solar system, right, have energy that move. And these shifts in energy are going to affect us. Right? When the full moon comes around, people get a little crazy. Some people say, well, that can't be. Why not? I'm a surfer. I watch what the moon does to the tide. Full moons and new moons, they make a big difference in the tide. They pull on those tides something fierce, and sometimes you can get some extreme switches in the tides. We're 70% water. Why wouldn't the moon affect us also? Everything that goes on in the world affects us, right? All energies. Some people are more sensitive to them than others. Some people can move with them, and some people don't know how to. And that's what this really all comes down to, is moving with the energy. The alignment of Saturn and Jupiter, right? That's a celestial event that's important. A solstice, where the shift from going from the days getting shorter to now getting longer, right? That's an important event. A full moon is an important event. Now we have the full energy of the sun being reflected off the moon and being shined towards us. It's very different than the sun's energy on its own. Its location of where the moon is in the sky is going to affect things differently. The new year, right? It's been 365 days. We are now returning to the same spot, relatively, to where the Earth was at this time last year. It's made one full revolution around the sun. Right? These are all shifts in energy. You can analyze them till the cows come home. My father was an astrologer, dug down deep astrologer. I'm not talking picking up a newspaper and just reading what your horoscope for today is. My father did charts. In my house, I have all of his equipment, for lack of a better term. I have his ephemerises. I have all of his books. I have all of the charts that were done. I have my chart. And he often spoke this way, to me about astrology, right? Telling me, well, this planet's going to align this way and that's going to align that way. And one of the things that he always said was, although these things move, how it affects you and how you respond to it is what matters. And that's what it comes down to. Right? All of these energetic events are not magic wands that are going to wipe away the problems in your life or wipe away the problems in the world, are going to wipe away coronavirus. When 2021 comes, 2020 ends and 2021 starts, you're not going to all of a sudden, poof, everything is going to be fine. The energy will shift, and you will have to move with that energy and know how to work with that energy, or nothing's going to change. The example I always like to give is surfing. I'm a surfer. Right? If you don't surf, this may be a little unusual to understand, but I know people who surf, my friends of mine I surf with, who love to study the statistics of surfing, right? Of waves and things. They like to talk about swell periods and swell direction and what the buoy's at and what's the wind speed and what's the wind direction. And all these things are very important, right? They're important to know because when you want to go find a place to surf, it's important to know these things. So you pick the best spot to go to, but in the end, you're just going to have to go to the beach and check it out. Because you can check all of those different numbers all you want, again, just like digging into this till the cows come home. But you're going to have to go and see what it's actually doing and respond to what it's doing. I've had friends who do that, and we've gone to the beach and we look at it and they'll argue. They'll be like, well, it really, with the swell, it should be doing this. And I'm like, but this is what it's doing. You want to surf it or not? Same thing when you're out in the water. Can't argue with the wave when it's coming and be like, well, the wind, it should be formed this way and it should be doing this. This is what the ocean is offering. You're either going to ride that wave or you're going to get clobbered by it or you're going to paddle over it. One or the other. It's one of those options. Either ride it, paddle over, or get clobbered by it. What do you choose to do? And all a wave is energy. That's all. It's the energy of wind being transferred into the energy of the water that gets transferred into this large wave that you as a surfer learn to ride. And that's not much different than what you need to do in life. All of these things that are coming about, all of these different energetic events all at the same time, they are important. But if you can't ride the wave, or if you're expecting that wave to just cure everything, well, it's just going to clobber you. You have to be able to move with it. You have to be able to recognize its signs and just ride with it. Right? How do we do that? That's the question, right? How do we do that? So we don't get overly analytical about it, right? We don't try to boil it down and find out what exactly is the age of Aquarius. I'm not saying those things don't matter. But how do we just know that the energy is shifting and we move with it? Again, it comes back to the practice, right? It comes to the stilling of the mind. The still mind will allow you to be able to perceive that, to be able to feel the shift in energy, feel when the things move, and feel which way it's going. And so you move with it instead of fighting the current, instead of fighting the energy, moving with it. Isn't that a much more comforting thought? To be able to just notice when the energy shifts and move with it, than to have to pick up books and study and learn all these different disciplines just to try to figure it out when in the end you're still going to have to do that anyway. And again, I'm not discouraging anyone who wants to study those things. But all you have to do is have a still mind. And that's what the practice is about in the end. Yoga at its core, again, is meditation, depending on how you do it. If you're taking gym yoga classes where it's really just about, burning calories, which there's nothing wrong with that, getting your circulation up, that's wonderful. But if you're not incorporating all that yoga has to offer to you, right, then you're simply missing out on some of the most important parts. But that's stilling of the mind. Right? And that's when you hear me talk about in the videos and anyone that's been to my classes, the breath work. Right? Allowing our thoughts to arise, allowing them to pass by, and returning to the breath. Right? So when those feelings come in, instead of being pulled in each direction, pulled into depression for the past, pulled into anxiety about the future, right? We pause and we breathe. And in that space, we can see, we can feel, right? That moment of breath. Go this way. It gives us that space. That's all you have to do, is learn to train the mind to be still. Now, it's very easy to say, like I said. It's not easy to do. I understand that. But all the other things you don't have to worry about. Just train your mind to be still Use the breath. And these things that happen as they come up, you'll notice them, and you'll be able to move with them. So if you have any resolution for 2020 and going into 2021, I would just work on stilling the mind. All the rest will follow. So, just a little quick video there on that. A little bit about the New Year's and all that's gone on. And hopefully that serves you. Either which way, have a Happy New Year, and thank you for watching. Namaste.